Yeah, yeah, good evening, everyone. So, yesterday I given you overview about what are the challenges in modern web development. Just I will give a summary. Yesterday we discussed about what are the challenges in modern web development. Remembered? What are the challenges in modern web development? Can you name them? We discussed challenges. Na? What are the challenges? Unified user experience. Yeah, fluid user experience. Another one. So another one is, yeah, what is it? Loosely coupled and extensible. Loosely coupled and extensible. These are the major challenges in modern web development. So how to overcome these challenges? So how to overcome the challenges? What is solution? What is solution? We discussed solution also, na? Right? What is solution? Solution is better to build. So build what kind of applications? Single page applications. So single page applications have all these features. They have unified experience. What does unified experience means? Unified experience means an application will have same experience across any device. That means from mobile to PC, anywhere application will have same experience. Fluid experience means user will stay on only one page and can access everything onto the page. That is called as fluid. Loosely coupled and extensible means without disturbing the application, we must able to add new features into application. That is loosely coupled and extensible. Now, next question we discussed how to build single page applications. We can build single page applications by using JavaScript and jQuery. Earlier also we built single page applications using JavaScript and jQuery. But what is problem with JavaScript and jQuery? What are the issues? What are the issues with JavaScript and jQuery? What are the issues with JavaScript and jQuery? JavaScript is a language. jQuery is a library. Can they control the application flow? They cannot control the application flow. That means they cannot control application flow. They cannot control application flow. That is the problem with JavaScript and jQuery. What is solution? What is solution? Solution is better use a framework. Understood? Better use a framework. And that is what we are going to use. And we are going to use a framework called Angular. But I told you that Angular is more than a framework. Angular is more than a framework. What we discussed about Angular? We discussed that Angular is a developer's platform. Detail I will go now. We will see that. So technically, to design single page applications, we are learning Angular. Right? If anybody asks what is the purpose of Angular? Then in one sentence you can say Angular is used for building what kind of applications? Single page applications. Angular is used for building single page applications. How this Angular concept came, I will give you the overview, right? See, actually to understand, I will give a simple concept. So evolution of Angular. How this concept of Angular came, I will tell you a simple basic overview. Actually, Google introduced a framework in early 2010 by name. They introduced a framework by name AngularJS. Google introduced a framework called AngularJS. Actually, I told you AngularJS is there with Google before 2010. Google already using AngularJS from many years for their applications. Now what happened is they made it open source and they given to every developer. So every developer can use AngularJS. So they made open source in 2010. And what is the issues with AngularJS? That means what are the issues? Means issues with AngularJS. What are the issues with AngularJS? Actually, AngularJS is introduced by Google, but a large community of developers and organizations are maintaining AngularJS. Understood? That means Angular originally introduced by Google, but they left it as open source. Any developer, any organization can contribute to AngularJS. That means they can introduce new features, they can develop AngularJS. So AngularJS, after introducing, lot of issues were there. What are the issues with AngularJS? First important is AngularJS is not designed for what we are using. AngularJS is not designed for what we are using. So that is the reason AngularJS have lot of gaps. AngularJS is a framework which is not designed for your requirements. It is not designed for our requirements, but we are using it. Actually, it is designed by Google for its requirements. Then obviously lot of gaps will be there. What is gap? I will tell you. See, simple concept is, suppose I will explain a small scenario. Suppose a supermarket. So some supermarket people came to you and they asked you to build an application for them. That means a supermarket people came to you and asked you to build an application to maintain supermarket related all the details. Products details, billing information, everything, stock and everything. Now the question is, which technology you will use to develop that application? Java, .NET, PHP, Python, Node.js, or which technology will you use to build that application? The question is how the company decides which technology to use. How the company decides which technology to use. Actually, for that what we do is, generally to decide which technology to use, we actually prepare a table. That table contains details like as is, to be, and gap. We design one table. In software companies, Before deciding which technology to use, first we prepare this table. As is, to be, and gap. As is means what your technology is capable of. As is means what your technology is capable of. To be means what client wants. To be means what client wants. What is the capacity of your technology and what client wants. Gap means what client wants and your technology is not capable of. For example, you are learning .NET or you are learning Java. If I asked you a question like, do you know how to write a code for generating barcode? Do you know how to write a program to read barcode? You are a Java developer or a .NET developer or a Python developer. Now can you tell me how to write a code that can read barcode? Have you learned that in Java, .NET or any technology? Do you know? Then how you will build application for supermarket? Supermarket application completely deal with barcodes. Right? There will be a barcode reader machine and we scan the barcode, then product details will come on screen. Am I right? Then how you will build? That means every technology is not capable of doing everything what client wants. Every technology has some gaps. Right? They have some gaps. That means you cannot say Java is good, .NET is good, or PHP is good, or Python is good. Right? Why? Because you know Wipro, Infosys, TCS, Tech Mahindra, all MNCs, all these companies have only Java developers, only .NET developers. They have all of these people. Why they have so many different technology people? If one technology is good in the world, then only those people must be there. Am I right? That means why these MNCs have Java developers, have .NET developers, have PHP developers. If anybody says my Java is great than anybody else, then obviously those MNCs also know that Java is great. They should not allow other people. Then why they are having all kind of people? Because every technology is not capable of doing everything what client wants. Now what we do is we calculate the gap. Gap means, for example, see, to build this application, suppose Java is having 20% gaps. That means 80% it can fulfill everything, but 20% of concepts not there in Java. And suppose PHP is having only 2% gaps. .NET is having some 15% gaps. Then my company will decide that go with PHP. Because 98% it can fulfill, but 2% gaps are there. Now 2% gaps, how to fill? How to fill this 2% gaps? We have to fill these 2% gaps by using third party. By using third party. That means your Java technology, .NET technology, they have to borrow so many logics, libraries from other third parties and fulfill the requirement. That means any technology in the world is not capable of doing everything what client wants. They will have obviously gaps. And how to fill up the gaps? The gaps are filled by using what? The gaps are filled by using third parties. Third parties like, see, I will show you. We have so many third parties. I will show you a third party, some like Telerik. Telerik is a third party. You see, this is third party. You might not heard about Telerik, but I am just showing you first. Telerik is a third party. You see, when I scroll down here, these are the customers of Telerik. NASA is customer of Telerik. NASA is customer of Telerik means they are providing software support for NASA like people. Then you can imagine their abilities. And you see, Microsoft is customer of Telerik. Microsoft customer of Telerik. How it can happen? Microsoft itself is a very big company. IBM is Telerik's customer. That means you may ask, like, Microsoft itself is a very big software development company. IBM itself is a software development company. Why they are depending on these third parties? They can ask their developers to build the, they can ask their developers to design a code for barcode, design a code for charts and all these things. They don't ask because already they are busy with their existing business. For example, you are using a Samsung mobile and the camera in Samsung mobile doesn't belong to Samsung. I hope you know. The lens of that camera doesn't belong to Samsung, that belongs to somebody else. You cannot ask Samsung, why can't you build your own lens? Right? They will say that, why should we do that? Already somebody is very much popular for building lenses and they are doing it. We are already busy with our business, then we will borrow from them. Right? We will not again try anything new. Don't waste the time. Every technology requires third parties. Your Java, your .NET will teach you how to use third party libraries for handling gaps. Suppose you know, when you design a registration form, every registration form needs a CAPTCHA, you know, needs a CAPTCHA. CAPTCHA is for verifying whether the user is a human or robot. Now, if anybody asks how to write code for CAPTCHA, CAPTCHA is not a code to write. CAPTCHA is already written. You have to just implement. Who provides? So many third parties will provide. You can implement. You see here, these third party, I will show you demos here. You see the demos. These Telerik people are providing support for .NET, for Java, for PHP, everything. And observe carefully. Suppose I go to Java, JSP. When I go to Java, you can see they are providing so many things, hundreds. Now you can see here, they are providing barcodes. And I go to the barcode, they will provide a library for barcodes. They will provide the code. They will provide the code for writing and reading the barcode. They will provide a library. And these third parties are all not free. Some are paid. You have to pay money and use the library. Companies will purchase them. So, how a technology is decided? Right? A technology is decided based on gaps. If there are more gaps, then we will ignore it. Less gaps, then we will implement. And how to fill up the gaps also we have to think. Whether you will fill up the gaps using free or by purchasing some third parties, your company have to decide. Right? If anybody says Java is great, .NET is great, he is software illiterate. He is an software illiterate who says Java is great, .NET is great, Python is great. Nothing like that. Because every project requirement suitable based on different technology availabilities. Right? Development of software depends on how abilities your technology is providing to it. Right? The concept is AngularJS is not designed for us. And we are using AngularJS. Then obviously lot of gaps will be there. How to fill up the gaps? Just now you learned. We need to depend on lot of third parties. Actually, this drawback is there even in current generation React like technologies. React like technologies also, they have to depend on lot of third parties. Lot of third parties. Lot of gaps, because these technologies like Angular and React we are using, which are not built for us, then we have to depend on lot of third parties, right? So that is one drawback. Another important drawback is AngularJS uses JavaScript as language. That is also one drawback. What is the problem of using JavaScript as a language? I hope you already learned JavaScript is not strongly typed. You know it? JavaScript is not strongly typed. That is one problem with JavaScript. JavaScript is not strongly typed. Not strongly typed means what? Suppose x equal to 10. That means what is the data type of x? What is the data type of x? Integer, number, right? Now x equal to John, will it allow? It will allow. JavaScript will allow. It will allow. If you know JavaScript, this is a basic thing. JavaScript allows. That means it is not strongly typed. This is a problem, because if I have to deal with a data type, then I have to depend on a lot of validations. If I have to restrict number, I have to restrict string, I have to depend on a lot of validations. One of the main problem with JavaScript, it is not strongly typed. Another important is JavaScript is not strictly typed. Strictly typed implicitly. It is not strictly typed implicitly. JavaScript is not strictly typed implicitly. What is meant by strictly typed implicitly means you might have learned in JavaScript, but I will show you here. Just observe what I am showing. You don't need to worry what logic I am writing. Just see the concept here. I'll just add here. You see, suppose I am writing a script and here x equal to 10, document.write x equal to the value of x. Actually, here I am writing some logic here. In this, x is a variable. Into the variable, I am assigning a value, but variable is never declared. Variable is not declared and I am trying to use it. It is allowed in JavaScript. It is allowed in JavaScript. That means now you see, when I run this, it is allowing that in JavaScript. It is working fine. It is working fine. But as per programming standards, without declaring a variable, we should not be able to use it. And JavaScript is allowing. Then what we ask JavaScript is, you know, we turn on strict mode, use strict. Use strict. We are turning on strict mode for JavaScript. When you turn on strict mode for JavaScript, now JavaScript will not allow to violate the programming standards. It will not allow to violate the programming standards. You have to write as per standards. Now immediately when I turn on the strict mode, you see it is not working. It will show one error. Let's go to inspect and see the console. It says that x is not defined. That means JavaScript is not verifying the standards of your code until or unless you turn on the strict mode. Turn on the strict mode. If I turn off the strict mode, then it is allowing it. If I turn on the strict mode manually, that means I am writing here, use what? Use strict, that is strict mode. Now it is not allowing to do that. It is not allowing to do that. Now what we have to do? We have to declare a variable and then use it. Then it will work. This is called strict mode. JavaScript is not implicitly strictly typed. You have to manually turn it on. But actually, I hope your .NET, Java, all these languages are implicitly strictly typed. If you misdeclare a variable, immediately it shows an error. But here, no, you have to manually turn it on. That is the problem with JavaScript. So if anybody asked you in interview, what is difference between strongly typed and strictly typed? What is difference? What is difference between strongly typed and strictly typed? Because 40% Angular interviews questions will be JavaScript. You will fail your all interviews if you are not good in JavaScript. 40% Angular interviews will be on JavaScript only. Because if interviewer starts asking questions on Angular, every question you can answer. Because Angular is after all a framework, and framework is not complicated. It's very easy. Everybody can answer concepts of framework. And programming, that is where people hang up. Programming, that is where people struck. Programming, that is where people have problems. And Angular programming is JavaScript in the format of TypeScript. We will learn TypeScript. But very important, your Angular interviews, React interviews, everything, majority questions will be first from JavaScript. That's the reason you need to be aware of so many JavaScript basics to crack interviews at Angular level. Okay. Now in this, what is difference between strongly typed and strictly typed? Strongly typed is about what? It is about data type, na? It is about data type. Strictly typed is about programming standards. Understood? Is about programming standards. If you don't write logic as per standards, then it will show errors. That is strictly typed. Strongly typed means data types. Is it integer or a string or a boolean? What that verifies the data type. So what is difference between strongly typed and strictly typed? Strongly typed is about data types and strictly typed is about programming standards. So JavaScript have a lot of problems. One, it is not strongly typed, it is not internally strictly typed. We have to turn it on, right? Another important problem with JavaScript is not an OOP language. JavaScript is not an OOP language. It is not an OOP language. It supports only certain features of OOPs. It is not a complete OOP language. If it is not a complete OOP language, what are the problems? If it is not a complete OOP language, extensibility issues will come. Extensibility issues will come. Code security issues will come. Code security issues will come. Extensibility, code security like issues will come if your language is not an OOP language. JavaScript is not OOP language. JavaScript supports only certain features of OOPs. Only certain features of OOPs, not everything of OOPs. That is one problem with JavaScript. Right? These are all the issues we were facing with AngularJS. These are the issues we were facing with AngularJS. That is the reason what happened is, so Google Angular team in 2014, Google's Angular team in 2014, they started a new language called ETScript. They started a new language called ETScript to overcome the issues of JavaScript. To overcome the issues of JavaScript, Google started a language called ETScript, and they wanted to use in Angular. That means AngularJS up to 2014, the versions were 1x. 1x means 1.2, 1.3 like that. The last version is latest latest means you say last Angular JS version. Angular JS version is 1.8. The last Angular JS version is 1.8. After that they stopped it. So from January 2022 they stopped. That means Angular JS stopped. Angular JS stopped from January 2022. Up to that Angular JS was there, and the last version was 1.8. And to overcome all the issues of Angular JS, Google Angular team, they thought of designing a new language called EdgeScript. And they thought of a new technology. Angular team started a new technology by name Angular. They started a new technology by name Angular, not Angular JS, separate Angular. So with version was Angular 2. And they started a new language for this. Why they started a complete new one? Because they want to overcome all the issues that they were facing with Angular JS. And they started a new script. What is that script? EdgeScript. They started a new script. But what happened is they were developing EdgeScript and they were developing a new Angular, and that new Angular was what? Angular 2. And what is this new Angular? Angular is an alternative for Angular JS, not replacement. Understood? That means Angular JS is different, Angular is different. Angular is not replacement of Angular JS, it is just an alternative. That means still in companies we are using Angular JS. So if anybody asked, is Angular advanced to Angular JS? Yes, Angular is advanced to Angular JS. It is having more features. We will discuss about them. But is it replacement for Angular JS? It is not replacement for Angular JS. It is just an alternative. It is not replacement for Angular JS. Actually, they started in 2014 by the name Angular 2. But what happened is, actually, they started Angular 2 instead of using JavaScript. They started their own script called EdgeScript. But what happened is, Microsoft already have a script called TypeScript. Microsoft already have a script called TypeScript. They suddenly saw that Google is trying some new language, and Microsoft asked Google, why you are trying this? Already we have it. That means they were trying exactly same as TypeScript again. And Microsoft said that, why you are trying this? Already we have it. That means you are wasting in time, because already we have built language, TypeScript. Actually, TypeScript was built by Microsoft. Anders Hazelberg. He developed a language called C#. For Microsoft Technologies, Anders Hazelberg developed a language called C#. And he is the architect of languages, not only C#, he is the architect of languages like Turbo Pascal. He developed the language Turbo Pascal. Turbo Pascal is very popular scientific language. He developed C#, and he developed languages called Delphi. Delphi is another very popular language. And he developed TypeScript also. He is the architect of TypeScript. TypeScript designed by Anders Hazelberg. He is the lead architect of this language. And already Microsoft have that language, and they saw that Google is trying same language again. And they asked Google team, Google Angular team, why you are using again same, right? We already have. Then Google Angular team had a meeting with Microsoft, and they saw that whatever they were trying to do, it is already there. And they were very much satisfied. And they asked Microsoft to make this TypeScript open source available to everybody. Then what happened is in 2014, Microsoft made TypeScript open source. Understood? Once they made it open source, now Google started using this language. That means now you are learning a technology which belongs to two major players in the world. One is Google, another one is Microsoft. That means the framework belongs to whom? The framework Angular belongs to Google. The language of that framework belongs to Microsoft. That means two big players are under the support with these two technologies. And I will tell you, we will discuss about TypeScript. That means once they are very much satisfied with the TypeScript, now everybody started using TypeScript. Every technology started using TypeScript. But one important point is, what is the problem? TypeScript is not understandable. TypeScript is not understandable to browser. So what browser understands? Browser understands only JavaScript. Then what we have to do is TypeScript is translated into JavaScript. That means finally application will use which one? JavaScript. But we will not directly use JavaScript. We will use TypeScript. Why we are using TypeScript? What are the features of TypeScript? I will explain. We will discuss about that. Now, once the TypeScript released, Angular started using TypeScript. Not only Angular, React, Angular, Vue, all modern technologies are using TypeScript. They are using TypeScript. Why? I will tell you. What are the features? We will discuss about that. But very important point here is, after TypeScript is integrated into Angular versions, so many versions are developed. Angular versions 2x, 2 onwards, so many versions developed, and the latest version of Angular is 14. 14 is the latest version of Angular. 14 is the latest version of Angular. And remember, up to Angular versions 12, they are no longer supported. That means officially they are not supporting up to 12. 13 is in long-term support and 14 is latest. That means even today some companies will ask, we want people with Angular 8, we want people with Angular 4, like that, because their old projects are still running on that. But currently you may work on Angular 8, but Google is officially not supporting anymore. That means if you get any problems in that, you are your own. You have to solve by yourself. No, Google will not support you in the solving those issues. If any technology is under support, then that technology developers will support you. That means if any technical issues comes, those technology people will support you. Their community will support you. But if any version you are using which is not under support, then you are on your own. Right? According to official Angular, you see what are the latest versions. Now several new versions are coming here. Angular, yeah. This is the Angular official website, and this is versions. I will show you here. So this is the versions. Where is the version history? Versioning and releases. You see, this is the latest Angular release history. That means version history. This is the latest version history. That means you see here, this is the latest history. That means current active version of Angular is what? 14. And LTS means long-term support. That means they are going to end very soon. They are going to end very soon. And see, up to version 2 to 11, they are no longer under support. They are not under support. And why I say 12 also going, because it is going to end on this year end. That means by the time you finish your Angular, some new version may come. That means one more version may release. These Angular and React versions are very, development is very fast. By the time you finish Angular, one more version will be ready. Right? However, few changes will be there. Those we will understand, we will learn. Right? So, but still companies will ask old versions. Now, no problem. If you learn 14 version, you can handle any older version. That means even your company is using an older version, you can handle. Because when we are learning about latest version, while learning, I will tell you how to handle that in older versions. Then you will not face any problem. That means even you are learning latest version, you will able to handle older versions also. What differences are there, I will explain while discussing the concepts. That means in old version how to use, in new version how to use, those differences we will learn. So currently, which version of Angular? Angular version is 14. So what is Angular JS and what is Angular? So if anybody asked you this question, what is Angular JS? What is Angular JS? Then you can say it is a framework. Understood? It is a framework. Angular JS is a framework. Now if anyone asks what is Angular? What is Angular? I told you yesterday, it is a developer's platform. Understood? Angular is a developer's platform. It is a developer's platform. And the question I told you, what is a developer's platform? What is a developer's platform? Developer's platform means it provides end-to-end solution for developer from building to deploying. Right? That means a developer's platform provides end-to-end solution for a developer. It provides all tools required from building to deploying. From building to deploying, whatever tools are required for developer, everything is provided by a technology, then it is called developer's platform. Angular is not just a framework anymore, it is more than that. So it is a very big developer's platform, right? We will learn the concept of this platform, right? Now the question here is, so another question is, so is Angular replacement? Is Angular replacement for Angular JS? Is Angular replacement for Angular JS? Answer is no. It is just an alternative for Angular JS. Now another question is, do we need to learn Angular JS in order to learn Angular? Not required. Directly you can start Angular. After learning Angular, can I handle Angular JS? No, you can't, because it is completely different. You have to learn Angular JS separately if your company is asking. But it is easy for anybody to learn and use Angular JS once they know Angular. But lot of difference is there, right? It is not advanced, it is an alternative. Now comes very important is, so what are the features of Angular? What are the features of Angular? What is the speciality of Angular? What are the features of Angular? That means how Angular is having more abilities than AngularJS. What are the features? That means why people with AngularJS background migrated to Angular. They are migrating, already migrated. Some people are still migrating, and some people are newly learning this, newly learning. So people who have experience in technologies from more than 10 years, they already know AngularJS. They are migrating from AngularJS to Angular. Projects also migrating from AngularJS to Angular. Now, what are the features of Angular? First important feature is Angular is modular. Angular is modular. Angular is modular. What do you mean by modular? So many technologies are now trying to become modular. What is meant by modular? See, I will tell you a simple point here. See, modular is nothing but actually, suppose, I hope you people know some, I will show Bootstrap, okay? Actually, bootstrap.css, I will tell in a simple way. In this bootstrap.css, this is a file. This is bootstrap.css file. Now in this file, approximately 10,000 lines code is present. In that file, 10,000 lines code is present. You are designing a HTML page. In HTML page, you are designing a button. And for this button, you are applying a bootstrap class called some BTN. Now you are just applying a class. And in order to use this class, you have to import this library into the page. Am I right? You have to import that CSS library into the page. Then only this can work. Am I right? Why you are importing 10,000 lines code just to use one class? Can't you import only what is necessary for that particular page? Right? So if entire library is imported even to handle a small concept, then that type of library is called legacy. Java, .NET, all these technologies are legacy type earlier, few years back. That means entire library is imported even to handle a small option. I want to print one line. For that, I have to import a library that requires a lot of space. That is the problem. Now, every technology is trying to change into modular. What is meant by modular? Modular means only the library that is required for that page will be loaded. That means only the library that is required for that situation will be loaded. That is what actually the concept of modular. Modular means what is the concept of modular? It loads only the library required for situation. What is advantage of this? If it loads only the library that is required for the situation, what is advantage? So application becomes lightweight. Am I right? Application becomes lightweight and application performs fast. Application performs faster. It is lightweight. It is performing fast because it loads only what is necessary for that situation. It will not load everything. Now in the current generation, all technologies, libraries are modified to modular, right? Earlier Java, .NET, everybody is legacy. Huge legacy libraries used to build a small application. Now everything is becoming modular. Only what is required for that situation will be loaded. We call this as what? Modular. Another important is Angular is asynchronous. Angular is asynchronous. It not only provides modular approach, it provides asynchronous approach. Actually, asynchronous, it is the ability to handle multiple tasks simultaneously at the same time. Actually, earlier we used to handle this by using a concept called multi-threading. Now it is gone. We are not depending on multi-threading very much. Using multi-threading in programming is becoming heavy on applications. That is the reason now every technology is adapting a concept called asynchronous. Every technology, Java, .NET, everybody. Java, .NET, all these technologies have multi-threading and they have asynchronous libraries in the latest versions. Now they are making everything asynchronous. Officially, it is not recommended to use multi-threads, right? But every application is multi-threaded to handle multitasking. Now we have asynchronous. Angular is asynchronous. Angular is modular. So what is advantage of asynchronous and modular? That means this makes Angular application. That means it makes application. It allows application to run tasks without blocking. That is important. I will tell you one simple example to understand the concept of asynchronous. One small point. Actually, what is the concept of asynchronous is, suppose, see, for example, I am giving here, we have task 1, its size is suppose 20 MB. We have task 1, its size is 20 MB. Task 2, its size is 4 MB. And task 3, its size is 50 MB. And task 4, its size is 1 MB. Now what happens is, generally, you make a request from client side. We made a request to first task. And it is 20 MB, it is taking time. When it is taking time, will your computer wait for the 20 MB to finish, or it will go to the second task? Actually, synchronous means it will wait until that is finished. Once this 20 is finished, then it will go to the second. That is called as synchronous. Now what is asynchronous? Asynchronous is nothing but it will make a request for first one. It is taking time. It will not wait. It will go to the second. It will go to the third. It will go to the fourth. And which one is lightweight? That will come first. Understood? For example, best example is you are offline. And some of your friend sent you 3 messages. That means actually he sent you messages on WhatsApp. Like suppose, so 8:30 PM he sent a video. So 8:35 PM he sent a text. And 8:40 PM he sent a image. Now when you are online, first which message will load? Video only loads. Messages will load as, remember, first messages are sent to you as per time order only. Video is loaded, but it is not finished, ready. It is still loading, am I right? That means it will load as per order only. But is text waiting until video is finished? Is image waiting until text is finished? No. That means this is asynchronous. Understood? Asynchronous. So asynchronous means what? Asynchronous means it will not wait. It will not wait to finish the task. It will go to the next. This is what actually your Angular can do. So Angular is modular, Angular is asynchronous. Another important feature, Angular uses TypeScript, and already we know the features. I will tell you the features of TypeScript, right? Angular uses TypeScript, and how TypeScript is different from JavaScript I will tell you, but this is also one feature. Now can you use Angular with JavaScript also? Yes, but it is not recommended anymore. We are using Angular with TypeScript. What are features of TypeScript we are going to discuss, right? First, modular, asynchronous, and Angular provides a complete platform for developer. Already we know this. Complete platform for developer means for development, for quality, and for production. You know, in real time, the three types of environments are present. We have development environment, quality environment, and production. Development environment means we build application. Quality environment, we test the application. And production environment, we make the application live. In real world projects, entire development of application happens in three environments: development, quality, and production. So development, building application; quality, testing application; production, making it application live, go live. And Angular supports all the environments, provides features, provides tools for all environments. From building to deploying, everything is provided. That is one advantage of Angular, right? These are the major features of Angular. Other features you will understand once you start learning it, right? The key features of Angular are these. You see the official website of Angular. What it says, it is a developer's platform. And see here, it says that speed and performance. The first feature is its speed and performance. How it is speed and how it can perform well. How it is speed and how it can perform well. Just now you learned now what you are looking at. How it can perform well and how it is speed. Right? It can perform well and it is speed because of modular library. And because of asynchronous library. Because it is modular and asynchronous. That is one feature. And see, incredible tooling. What is meant by incredible tooling? Incredible tooling means it have every tool required for a developer. That means from building to deploying, right? And of course, this is a general one. This is loved by millions, right? That means trending, right? But that is not the key concept for us. For us, the main concept, why they say develop across all platforms. I already told you, unified experience. So the key features of Angular are this. And how it works, we will see that. We will see how it is going to work. Is it clear to everyone? Right? That means now you cannot directly start Angular. In order to start Angular, first you have to learn a language called TypeScript. Now already we discussed what are the problems of JavaScript. Now the question here, what are the features of TypeScript? That means why Angular, React are all using TypeScript. Evolution already I told you. Who developed TypeScript? TypeScript is a language developed by Microsoft. Developed and maintained by Microsoft. TypeScript language is developed and maintained by Microsoft. Who is the architect? Anders Hazelberg. Anders Hazelberg is the architect of TypeScript language. He is the architect of TypeScript language. And first stable release of TypeScript is in 2014. That is the first stable release. In 2014, that is the first stable release. And very important is TypeScript is strongly typed language. TypeScript is a strongly typed language. What is meant by strongly typed language? Strongly typed language means data type restriction. JavaScript is not a strongly typed language, but TypeScript is a strongly typed. Another important, TypeScript is strictly typed language. That means you don't need any strict mode to on. In JavaScript, we need to turn on the strict mode, but TypeScript is internally strict. Another important feature, TypeScript is an OOP language, a perfect, complete object-oriented programming language. TypeScript is a complete OOP language. That means it supports all features of OOPs. And very important specialty of TypeScript is built in TypeScript. That is the greatest feature of TypeScript. Your Java, your .NET are not built in Java.NET. Do you know? Right? They are after all not built in their own languages. They depend on others. But TypeScript is built in TypeScript. TypeScript is built in TypeScript. This is a great feature actually. What is advantage I will tell you. For example, if anybody asks you, like you learned some technologies, you already know OOP languages now. Suppose you know any OOP languages or Java or C++ or .NET. If anybody asks what are the drawbacks? What are the drawbacks of OOP? What are the drawbacks of object-oriented programming? Tell me some drawbacks of OOP languages. Don't know? Only features, only advantages, no drawback. Huh? Java is God, .NET is God. All other technologies are useless. That is what your people will teach you. Huh? They don't have any drawbacks, no issues, nothing. They are just genius. Right? No drawbacks. What are the drawbacks of OOPs? The first important drawback of OOP is object-oriented programming languages. They don't support. So they don't support low-level features. They don't support low-level features. If they don't support low-level features, they cannot directly interact. They cannot directly interact with hardware. They directly cannot interact with hardware. That means they occupy more space. They occupy more space. They are slow. These are all drawbacks. They are very slow. They occupy more space. They cannot directly interact with hardware. They don't support low-level features. That is the reason you cannot say that OOP languages are best. For example, see, I will tell you one simple point here. For example, we have TV, we have washing machine, air condition. I have to control air condition with a remote. Is a Java programming running in air condition? Is .NET program is running in air condition? According to you, those two are greatest technologies in the world. Then every device must be using them. right? Now will a Java program run in air condition? It's not possible, because you have to control in a small chip, right? And it has to control direct hardware. Hardware means fan rotation, fan speed, orientation, right? Even compressor on and off. These are too much complicated things. They are not simple. And your Java, .NET programs can't do that. They can't directly control hardware. So OOP languages are not great every time. That means, for example, you know, in space research, to control rovers on Mars, do you know, NASA uses Pascal as a language, right? It uses Pascal as a language. That means Pascal is a very high scientific language. It uses Pascal as a language. Now, do you know, recently they are trying now Python. You know Python machine learning, huh? Heard about that? Right, artificial intelligence machine learning. Actually, for example, means I will tell you a simple example. Suppose we have a rover on Mars. Now from Earth, they have to control that rover. From Earth, they will give a command, turn left. Then after 20 days, it will turn left on Mars. That means this command reaches to Mars in 20-25 days. That means after 20 days, it will turn. Do you know, NASA have lost communication with some of the rovers which are already there. Some new rovers they sent. Curiosity is the new one. Huh? Right? Do you know why they lost communication? Because their memory is full. Now you may ask, like, what NASA saying that memory full? They can send 1 million terabytes hard disk na? No, the entire rover weight is hard disk weight. They have to send a small chip, and that chip is full, they can't control it, they can't delete. Then they have to lose communication. That means your language must be so fluid that it can directly interact with hardware. And OOP languages can't do that. That is the reason, when we use OOP language, you see 30,000 rupees Samsung phone. 1,000 rupees ordinary phone will be there, which is not a smartphone, you know. You turn on both phones. This 1,000 rupees phone get ready first. Your 30,000 rupees phone still loading. If you have to compromise with, if you want features, if you want abilities, then you have to compromise with speed. You have to compromise with the space, right? OOP languages are not great every time. What the main drawback is, they can't directly interact with hardware, and they occupy more space, and they are slow. What is the specialty about TypeScript is, it can directly interact with hardware. That means TypeScript is more better than all OOP languages that we have in the current generation. Remember, don't underestimate TypeScript, because TypeScript is not for Angular. TypeScript is used separately for building large-scale applications. TypeScript is separately used for building large-scale applications. Angular is borrowing TypeScript. Understood? TypeScript is not designed for Angular. Remember that point. TypeScript is a very huge technology used in even artificial intelligence. After all, Angular is using a certain part of TypeScript. Right? TypeScript is not built for Angular or React or any technology. It individually works. Individually, large-scale applications are built using TypeScript. TypeScript is one of Microsoft powerful language they have. Internally, they use TypeScript for building so many other languages. Right? Now we are using the TypeScript to support and overcome the issues of JavaScript. So don't underestimate that TypeScript is for Angular. TypeScript is not for Angular. TypeScript individually is a huge language. We are learning only what is need for Angular. Understood? We are learning only what is necessary for Angular. So now how this TypeScript works, we will see. How it works, we will see practically. Working with it, setting up, installing, how it works, architecture, everything we will discuss. That we will see in tomorrow's session. Right? So from tomorrow, we will start practically working with it. Right? From tomorrow, we will start TypeScript. This TypeScript will take 2 weeks time. After 2 weeks only, you are ready for Angular. Without TypeScript, you can't touch Angular. You can't touch Angular. So you have to finish your TypeScript, then you will go into Angular. So first we are going to learn complete TypeScript language. Then we are going into Angular. So directly we will not go into Angular. Right? So tomorrow onwards, we will start practically working with TypeScript. Right? And from tomorrow we are learning TypeScript. I will give you an online link tomorrow. Right? Tomorrow I will give you an online link for classroom notes. Whatever we are discussing in the class, these 2 days, whatever we discussed, those videos and those content, everything I will upload into the classroom. And tomorrow I will share that classroom code with you so that you can get all the notes from there. Okay. Then from tomorrow we will start practically working with TypeScript first. Okay.